Hi guys, welcome to Optimal Health Community Time. My name is Chris. I'm normally the guy behind the scenes, but tonight I decided to do a little bit of a takeover. So we'll see how it goes. If anything breaks, I'm gonna blame Mike. That is the new rule. So I am excited for tonight. Tonight we're talking about the science of the reset, but most importantly, I'm excited because I'm going to introduce you guys. We've talked about this for a little while, and I don't know how many of you understand how much time and effort really goes into our Monday nights. We meet every single Tuesday morning, even when we don't want to, but we usually want to because it's my favorite call of the week, other than this one. And we recap what worked, what we would like to see in the future. We talk about every single person that comes on this Zoom, and we take every bit of feedback we possibly can from everyone, good, bad, and different, all of it. And we try and strive to make the best possible Monday night for our optimal health community. And I'm excited because I'm going to introduce you guys to our phenomenal crew, and they are going to come up right now, barring any technical difficulties. And so this is the crew. Welcome, crew. The only person we're missing tonight is Craig, mostly because I think he's a little busy right now, but he is definitely an integral part of this cog that keeps us running. Craig helps us. He is my backup IT guy. He is the person I lean on for support. He has personally coached me in the past, and unfortunately still does now because I'm a pain in the butt for sure. But I'm really excited to introduce you guys to this amazing group of people. And most importantly, I'm sure many of you have heard the rumblings. There's been a lot of talk about this here and there, but I want to make sure everyone understands there's a big change happening this week. And we actually find out on Thursday at our Optimal Health or our Optavia convention what our new name is going to be. And some people that may or may not be on the Zoom right now are under NDA and they can't reveal what that name is yet. But so just remember that. But on Thursday, we're all going to learn all about that. And I'm excited because I've had an opportunity to work alongside many of these people for over a decade. I've been coaching for 11 years now. And I've been working with every single one of these amazing people in those 11 years. And I can tell you, you're not going to find bigger hearts out there. Share some love in the chat. I already see a whole bunch of things coming in the chat right now, but share some love in the chat. If you know Nancy, if you know Jen, if you know Amber, if you know Dr. Mike and Amy, and if you know Craig, of course. I know he's not here, but he's here in spirit, and that's really what matters. And I made this right before the Zoom started and didn't tell any of them about it. I'm pretty sure that's probably going to get the Zoom canceled, just a heads up, because we're live streaming right now. And whenever you're live streaming and you play songs you're not supposed to, it shuts down the live stream. So everyone on Facebook, that might be the last you hear of us for the time being. But anyway, welcome everyone.
Well, good evening.
So good to see everyone.
Thanks for putting this on, Chris, and all that you do. It's great to be here.
Well,
honored to be here.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm excited. I get a lot of exposure to this community, and that's honestly the biggest reason I'm no longer 320 pounds. I lost 120 pounds on this program 11 years ago, but it's not about that. It's not about the weight that I lost. It's about the life that I gained. And we're doing a little bit of an impromptu tonight because we're going into the week of convention, and so it's a very busy time. Many of us are leaving on flights either tonight or tomorrow morning, so it's a bit chaotic right now. With that in mind, and with this launch that's happening this Thursday, next Monday night, we're actually not going to be doing a live Zoom. I'm going to replay one of our favorite episodes called Getting Unstuck by Craig Blanchett. And it was funny, Mike and Amy, you guys were on that Zoom. Were you aware of that? I watched it again. I'm like, oh, hey, they were on that original Unstuck. And then the Getting Unstuck Part 2, which was really cool. So we're going to be doing that throwback episode next Monday. But I'm really excited to be here tonight with y'all. But anyway, I digress. I'm all over the place right now. So I just spent a week up in the woods, and I want to talk about the power that this community has, because on our way back, I blew a tire. Now, you need to understand something. I'm in the middle of the woods. There's no cell service. There's no one there. It's middle of the afternoon here in Arizona on a Saturday, so it's about 100 degrees outside. I'm bald, so I'm already sunburned in like 10 minutes of sun. It's terrible. And we blow a tire before I get into cell range. And I got out of the truck. I kept a good attitude, as much as you can, with 4 screaming children in the car and a beautiful wife who's tolerating this. And I had to change a tire, but I didn't have all the tools necessary to change a tire. one of the lug nuts was stuck, and none of you know this story because I haven't told anyone yet. But I ended up having to stand on top of the lug wrench, and I couldn't get it to budge. If I had been 320 pounds, I probably could have gotten it to budge and or snapped it. But as it was, I couldn't get my tire off. So I have a blown tire in the middle of the woods, and I can't do anything. And so thankfully, a passerby, some guy comes driving by, and he says, "Hey, I got a torque wrench, or I got a lug wrench. Do you want me to help?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely. That's great." I'm sweating bullets. It's crazy. And in about 2 seconds, I got that tire off, and we were on the way. Now, if that doesn't tell you how powerful it is to have the right tools in your tool belt, I don't know what else does. So, Amber, I know you had a number of things that we brought up earlier today that you wanted to cover, and some questions and comments about the science of the reset. Why don't you take it away, madam?
Yeah, I used to think, similar to you, Chris, I was a very unhealthy person 8 years ago. And I felt like for years and years and years and more years, I was chasing health. And it always seemed like it was out of my grasp. And I wanted a reset. I wanted a complete renewal of my life, honestly. And as the more I felt like I was chasing it, it seemed to slip through my fingers. And it wasn't until a friend that I had met many years ago at church, she was sharing her journey transparently. And when she told me about a different way of looking at health and wellness, I thought I need to lean in, and it changed my life. I released 100 pounds, and it was just truly the best gift anybody could ever offer me. But what I realized is that health isn't something that you chase, it's something you create. And those are two very different things. It's about creating something that your body is longing for. It's just that a lot of us have been committed to habits that and patterns that are not optimal for us to reset our bodies, to give it a chance to do what it's designed to do best, which is to allow us to live life to the full. And I got to my breaking point where I just said, enough is enough. I'm no longer willing to sacrifice living my best life. And this is something that I can create. And Dr. Anderson has been a huge part of that, reset in my thinking and in my mind. And I think the reset that we're all pursuing, yes, it's physical, but it's financial, and it's mental, and for some of us also spiritual. So this is coming from a place of empowerment and strength. I'm no longer chasing the wind or a victim of my circumstances. We get to become healthy people through this reset. And so I think that as a group, we all have a lot of experience in coaching, hundreds and thousands of people. But first and foremost, we're walking it ourselves. And that is really, really critical, is that we are not selling people things. We're not trying to be a superstar. We're just normal people like everybody else walking this health journey together. So I would just say, I'd love to hear from all of you. Our goal isn't about just losing weight. That's that diet mentality. I would love to hear from all of us, just sharing a little bit about what is the difference for you in your health and in helping others that has made this something you create and not something that you're just chasing.
That's super powerful, Amber. And what you said so eloquently encompasses everything that the Habits of Health system is all about.
Yeah.
Right. And, Dr. A talks about this in the Life book. He talks about the difference between conflict resolution and creation. And so conflict resolution is, I can't fit into this pair of pants. I can't wear the dress that I want to wear to that wedding, right? I'm out of breath whenever I try to tie my shoes. That's a problem. Yeah. And a lot of times problems are what get us started. But if our mindset never evolves beyond that, right? Once that conflict is resolved, that's when we resort back to our old behaviors. And Dr. Anderson talks about moving from conflict resolution into creation, which is what Amber was talking about. And that was really the switch. As I was reading the life book and studying the habits of health, I realized that I had spent most of my life in conflict resolution, right? I did something until whatever the conflict was for me resolved, and then I drifted back into the other habits. And when I really embraced this idea that we have the opportunity to create our future, it really changed the way I looked at everything I was doing, because weight loss, weight loss was never the destination, right? It was just the doorway that opened us up to come into here and learn about these habits that could transform our life long term.
Yeah, it's been kind of an emotional week just looking at where we started and where we all are going. And I look at you guys and everyone's from the north, the south, the east, and the west, and we all become family. And that's what I've learned. Dr. A talked about this a while ago, that our program will get you healthy, but it's the community that will heal you. And I think that's where I've felt the emotion, and I'm so excited to see everybody for one, and hug everybody and do those things, because this community is like no other. And coming into it, I mean, yeah, I was literally chasing weight loss. I was running like 25 miles a week, personal trainer, going to the Y. I was doing all the things and not eating very much, right? And thought I was healthy. And then in 1 week, actually 4 or 5 days, right? Metabolic reset made a huge change in our life. And then not just that for ourselves, but paying it forward. The conflict resolution, like you say, I kind of talk about element 4 often, the drama triangle. I was in that. I was in that victimhood, sometimes the hero, all those things, going back and forth in that whole triangle there in element 4. And what I learned is I could move into the empowerment triangle. And that was when I could pay it forward and start serving others in what I had found. And I think that's the emotional part. Like even today, we saw so many changes of people like being able to, their blood pressure was changing. They were posting about that. I mean, people that didn't have hope coming into this, they thought they were going to have to live with this pain and never lose the weight and do those things. And it changed for them. And so that's what I'm looking forward to as we continue.
I'm really glad that you brought up the life book, you guys, because I feel like that was one of the things for me that was so different than everything else I had done before. And believe me, I'm embarrassed to tell you, but I've done them all. But that's another difference I realized between what this gift we have in our hand versus what I've done my whole life. And I think I went on my first diet in junior high, right? And of course, I look back now, why is a junior high girl dieting? But probably because my mom was, and there we went to our local, weight loss center. I'll just keep it at that. And yes, I lost weight, but guess what I would do? I would go back to my old habits and that weight would come back on. And then when I wasn't happy with that and I had that discord, as you were kind of talking about, Mike, I would try something else. And then that was the story of my life. So no wonder there was so much metabolic dysfunction in my body. And I was diagnosed with things that when I thought about my future was not what I wanted. So to be honest, I kind of rolled my eyes when my friend who I watched lose 55 pounds in 5.5 months. I'm like, what Kool-Aid are you doing? Because I'm doing all these half marathons, trying to exercise my weight off, and it wasn't working. And then I was so good at beating myself up. But I did get to that point that I was so tired that I was willing to trust my friend, and I'm so glad I did. So yes, the science of what happened with how I fueled my body and understanding blood sugar balancing, not all the confusing information, low calorie, low fat, low carb, blah, blah, blah. And those things, okay, they have a place, but nothing had compared to the science. But I will tell you what, it was. And I saw TJ putting this in the chat as well, that it wasn't until she actually opened the book that she started changing her life. And for me, that was the same thing, because to be truthful, this battle is in the 6 inches between our ears. And I felt like as I started opening my life book, it was Dr. Anderson knocking on my door. Hey, Jen, hello. I'm here to spend some time with you. And you know what? It was that realization that I needed to feed the 6 inches between my ears more than the hole in my face. Like that was almost more impactful. And when I started to realize that for all of us, no matter what quote unquote diet is out there, even though the science of what we do is so different, and it's not a diet, that forever and always, you guys, it's going to be about our 6 macro habits. What's our habit of sleep? What's our habit of exercise, hydration, eating, surroundings, just like you said, Amy, with our community, and then managing our emotions. And the fact that we are given tools to put on our tool belt, not in some tool shed, but on our tool belt is part of what makes this so different and impactful. I'm curious, Nancy, how about you? Tell us a little bit about your experience.
Well, like Amy, I've been super sentimental this week. I keep like replaying memories in the past 14 years that I've been with Optavia. Actually, back then it was Take Shape for Life. And I made a reel. When I make a reel, I'm not very techie, but it only gives you 50 pictures you can use in the kind of reel I do. Maybe you guys are better at that stuff. But how do you pick 50 pictures? I have so many in my phone that are so precious to me, and just remembering the old days, remembering the old crew, and remembering when the new books came out, and the Life book was just amazing. How Dr. A really, through time, realized how much of this is a mental piece. And I keep thinking about how my mind has evolved and grown and changed. It wasn't just the body. And I'm so grateful for how my body changed. I mean, I had a lot of pain. I was 14 years ago, I was 46 years old. I didn't feel good. I had pain every day. There was times I was stuck. Like I was stuck in New York City. I didn't know how I was going to get out without a wheelchair. The pain was so bad, and I thought it was arthritis. And just last fall, I had an X-ray or an MRI done, and the doctor said, "You don't have arthritis, very, very little." And I'm like, oh, so that was my weight and inflammation all that time that I thought it was arthritis. But no, it was just my check engine light was on, and I didn't know. And I thought maybe that's just part of aging, or maybe it's menopause. I didn't know what it was, but I just thought maybe this is what it's going to look like. But nope, I didn't fit on a roller coaster. And that was so embarrassing to me. And I was like, how are all these diets and my addictions and closet binge eating and trying to like hide and not be accountable? How's that working for me? And I had to give myself some good old fashioned tough talk and say it's time to change. But what I loved about with this time, yes, I lost 54 pounds in 5 months. And that completely changed my life. And I felt so good, and so many things resolved for me. But what I didn't expect was that my identity needed to change. I wasn't visiting Healthy Land just for a time. Oh, it's so pretty when you lose weight. Anything fits. Like you can slip those jeans right on and you don't hate the three-way mirrors. But I was just visiting. I would just go right back to obese land because that's what I thought you should do. You just diet, right? And then, no, I'm actually home now. I've been missing. I'm not going back there. This is where I belong. And I had to think like a healthy girl and shop like a healthy girl and vacation like a healthy girl and think like a healthy girl because I was one. I am one. And once I started to view myself differently like that, it just there is no going back. I just view myself different. And that's one of the things I talk to my clients about is just how do you view yourself? Are you doing Optavia or doing program, or are you being? Are you like, I'm never going to be off program, because off program would mean that I'm off habits of health, and that's just not the way I roll anymore. So I'm just so grateful. I sent that reel to Dr. Anderson today. I texted it to him and I said, I walked through memory lane and I wanted you to see this because you're in some of my pictures. And do you know he thanked me? He said, "You've given your heart and soul into this mission for 14 years. Thank you so much. It means so much to have your help." And I'm like, "You're thanking me? Like, thank you, dude. Like, you don't even know how amazing you are to so many people." And I'm just overflowing with gratitude and can't wait to see what's coming Thursday night. So
And Nancy, I love that you said it's like that check engine light, your
yes.
body, like all those symptoms and things that were happening. And I saw some people in the chat like commenting on that as such a good image. And I really think that the reset is about helping your body cooperate with you, because our bodies were not cooperating, kind of like that car that's not cooperating. It's not operating like we want it to. But our bodies are so intelligent. They talk to us all the time. And our bodies want to heal. They want the blood sugar regulated. They want to burn stored fat. They want to reduce inflammation. Our bodies want energy. They want to think more clearly and not have a brain fog. They want to sleep better. Like, it just speaks to us all the time, but it can't do those things if we are committed to an environment that doesn't foster health. And so the reset isn't about sacrifice or punishment or scarcity. It's really about removing the obstacles that are preventing our bodies from cooperating with optimal living.
I love that, Amber. And I was thinking while you guys were all talking too, is what was different for me is I had a coach. I had a coach walk me along the journey when I was like always doing it by myself. And then I'd secretly do it every Monday, start a new diet, not tell anybody. But my family knew because I did all these different ones, and like certain days we ate certain foods, and they're like, oh, it's that day to eat that food. And then by Thursday or Friday, I would fail again. And this time, if I felt like I was failing, I had a lifeline. I call it lifeline, my coach, and I just would send a message like, I don't know if I'm doing this right or whatnot. And then they would always check in on me, right? We always had a check-in time. And I just think that part of it makes me think of climbing a mountain by yourself, but honestly coming back down and grabbing everyone at the bottom and saying, hey, let's go together. That's what the coach does. And, in our system, we say your weight loss is 10 times visceral fat, body fat, 10 times more likely to happen with a guide or a coach with you.
Yeah, that's so good, Amy. And as we evolve and grow, all things evolve and grow, and that's what we're talking about here tonight. So I see some people in the chat like, what's changing? What's happening? Well, we've always had a system that had three components to it, right? The reset, the refine, and the renew phase. And, we're growing into a space where we want to put as much emphasis on refining and renewing as we always have in resetting, right? Resetting is a very important part of getting our metabolism online, getting our body and our cells functioning in a healthy way. However, that is just the initial phase of it, right? The next phase is about refining our health and optimizing our body composition and really making these habits of health part of something that we live out. And renewing is something that we do for forever. So a lot of the evolution that you're going to see, the changes you're going to see, are as we embrace the totality of what we offer, which Dr. A calls the trilogy of optimal health: healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances, right? When we have all of those working together, we have the opportunity to experience optimal health and well-being. So we want you to know that you're looking at people that have been doing this for many, many years. And you're seeing life beyond the reset. You're seeing that habits, yes, bad habits are hard to break, but really the slogan should be habits are hard to break. Right? Good habits are hard to break too. And once you instill the habits of health and vitality and longevity, they stick just like the bad habits did. But there's a process to get there. There's a resetting phase, there's a refining phase, and there's a renewing phase. And so we want you to see the hope in that. We don't want you to just see people that reset. We want you to see people that have refined and optimized their health for years and years and years and are living out the habits of health.
Yeah, I love that.
It's so true. I think, it's tempting to believe that our bodies are broken, but they're not. They just respond to the environment that we create. And to your point, Dr. Mike, it's like the environment is community. It's being in community. Part of our environment is having that coach alongside us. Part of our environment is knowing all the other things that are not related to food, which is what we typically focus on when we think about health, all of those pieces are part of the environment that we create. And I'm deeply grateful for Dr. Anderson and this community that walks alongside and helps us to create the environment at every stage, whether it's the reset stage or the refine stage or the renew stage. We're not alone, and we can create environments that are going to support healthy lifestyle.
And Amber, that's going to be important. And I know Chris can validate this because he talks a lot about this as well. It's really when most of the country is swimming downstream. That's why we have to be so intentional. And it's why we have to bring our mind along for the journey and do those mental push-ups. Because when you're trying to swim upstream, when everyone else, 9 out of 10 Americans are dealing with some sort of metabolic dysfunction. And if we don't catch it at the dysfunction phase, that's when it turns into the disease phase. Is that what we want for our future and for our country? But swimming upstream is hard when everyone else is going downstream. And that's why Dr. A left critical care, was to help you and me and everybody watching this live or on the replay, is helping us have the tools to be able to create a life that allows us to pursue the things that matter most to us. But that's why that community and coach is important as we swim upstream. Chris, I know you're passionate about this. Any words on that?
Well, I mean, what I love about this community is that in 11 years, this is the most fun I've ever had. For those that don't know, part of my story is I retired from being a full-time IT guy back in 2017 so that I could be a full-time Optavia coach. And I say full-time. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's whatever amount of time I want to spend doing that every week. And I actually love what I get to do now. And I get to hang out with some amazing human beings and learn every single week. I get a chance to be in rooms with Dr. A, with all of these incredible people. I mean, Nancy and Mike and Amy and Amber and Jen, and Craig joined us too. I'm going to pop him in here in just a second. He can give some final thoughts just before we close out. But what I love is that I get educated every single week. For years, I struggled with my weight. I had no idea. I was just going through menopause. I mean, I thought I was just a big fat guy. No, turns out, thank you, Nancy. Apparently I was going through menopause because I had a lot of the same behaviors. No, that's probably not what it is. I digress. But what I will say is I want Craig Blanchette to come out here for just a second. So Craig, are you able to join us for just a moment, sir? I'm going to bring you in if you want to unmute.
Yeah. Hey guys, literally, I know you guys are talking about long-term wellness and health, and I've had so many miles on my body. I got in to see a specialist for my wrist and my elbow, and he was doing the thing literally. And one of you guys called me and said, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm having my hand taped right now." Like, and so, but it is this, we talk about the 3 phases. We talk about metabolic reset, the refining process, and then the renewal. And I'm in the renewal process where, as I get older, you're constantly looking for what needs some attention now. How can I apply this learning now? And so for me, it's not about going fast and setting world records anymore. It's about being able to keep up with my standard quality of life, and a lot of the things that I've learned, the nutrition facts, and working with all you guys. It's like you hang around this kind of group and it'll be impossible for you not to make an improvement in your health.
That's incredible. All right. Now I'm just going to be a disembodied voice for just a moment. But what I will tell you is we've reached the end. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited. Next week, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to have a throwback episode, our Getting Unstuck by our very own Craig Blanchette. This was an incredible, incredible listen. We went through and we looked at all of the previous podcasts and Vimeo recordings and YouTube and Facebook and everywhere this is saved. And this one has the most plays in the last 18 months by far. Not even a little bit close. So I would definitely, I recommend you tune in next week, since we're all going to be coming back from convention. Our minds are going to be a little fried because we're trying to process everything, which is cool. But we needed to take a little bit of a break. And so next week we'll have a throwback episode with Getting Unstuck. You can follow us at Optimal Health 365 on YouTube. You can go to Facebook Live, and it's the Optimal Health Community Time. We will be changing that here pretty soon, especially since we're going to have a whole bunch more friends coming with us. We currently have anywhere between 1,000 to 10,000 people that see this every single week, and it's going to jump up to close to 100,000 people a week based on all the people we're going to be bringing in to partner with us. So I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to experience that. I can't wait to hug all your faces at convention later this week in Orlando. And with that, everyone have an amazing, amazing week, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Bye.